Yeah, so you're welcome back. Now for the side pieces, there's another measurement we need, which is the cup size. And I'll tell you what a cup size is. But then let's proceed so that we're going to be seeing what we're talking about. So we need the cup size. And I'll give you the calculations on how to get a suitable cup size for a particular client. But then the cup size we're going to be using in this case is 2 inches, and I'll show you where to apply that 2 inches. Now this is it. We are done with the center front block. We are proceeding to the side block now. This is what you want to do. This is a nipple point, right? Now this 2, which is the cup size that I mentioned, you come to your, this is the under bust line, this is the bust line, and this is the waistline. You come to the under bust line and you measure 2 from this point, from this 3.5 inches here. You measure 2 inches, right? Go down to the waistline, do the same thing, 2 inches, and you can for now join these points together. This is 2 inches, this is 2 inches. That's the cup size we are talking about. The cup size has to do with what you take from the under bust and the waistline to form the cup of a particular client. It varies from clients to clients. It could be 1.5, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 2.5, it could be 2 1/4, 2 3/4, 3. But the highest I've used so far is about 3 1/4. I think that's the highest I've used so far. Now, if you have done that, this is the next step you want to do. You come to this nipple point, step down by 1 inch. This is 1 inch. And what you want to do is to join that 1 inch with a smooth curve to this point. Remember, we are working with free hand, so this is free hand. I'm using free hand. So you've done that. You come back to your nipple point again, step it up by 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch. You come to this armhole area, drop down by 1.5 inches. This is 1.5. And what you want to do is to join that point to this 1/2 inch above the nipple point with a nice curve. Right? This is what we want. Now come back to this point, extend it upwards by 1.5 inches. If you measure this line, it shouldn't be less than 1.5. It could be more, it could be 2, but let it not be less than 1.5. So we have that for now at that point. Now we can proceed to implement our bust measurement, and we say the bust measurement for the front is 19.5 inches. Now the waist and the under bust, we are going to divide it for the front and the back equally, because the under bust is not developed. It's more like the front is more like the back, and the same thing happens to the waist. It's only the bust that makes the difference. So for the under bust and the waist, we're going to divide it equally for back and front. So the under bust, if this is the bust for front, the under bust for front will be 15, because that's 30 divided by 2, and the waist for the front too will also be 15, 30 divided by 2. So this is what we want to do. Remember that our bust span is 3 inches when divided, because we have a span of 6. So when divided is 3 inches, but we added 1/2 inch. Reason being that we want to use that 1/2 inch as the seam allowance to join the center front and the side front together. So watch, this is how your seam line will pass, 1/2 inch, right? When joining, that's where your seam line will pass. The same thing will happen to the side piece, because you are joining the side to the front. So we have 1/2 inch that will be lost while you are joining the center front and the side front. You're going to lose 1/2 inch seam allowance. So that will return this point to 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, right? Now there's a reason for this, and I'll tell you. Now we want a front bust measurement of 19.5. Because this is folded into 2, we still have to divide our 19.5 by 2. So 19.5 divided by 2 will give us about 9 3/4, 9/3/4, or 9.75, right? Now that is what we need to measure on this bust line. But out of that 9 3/4, we already have 3 inches here. You do not count it as 3.5 inches because half inch will be lost during joining. So you are not counting that half inch among. So what we have here, out of the 9 3/4, we already have 3 inches here. So what you want to do, simply do is, this is 3 inches. I'll fold my tape at 3 inches. And what we are working towards is 9 3/4. So from this point towards this side, we need to measure out the remaining out of 9 3/4. But again, we will not count half inch into the side block because that also will be lost while joining the side block to the center block. So my 3 inches, having folded my tape to 3 inches, I'll put it half inch into the side block and I'll measure my 9 3/4, which when multiplied by 2 gives us 19.5 inches.